Hello and welcome to Creating a Legacy podcast. This is Thalia, your host. I am so happy. I'm so happy to have you here. It's such an amazing feeling to see something that is a vision that God gave you come to life. Like, I know when God gave the vision for this, I had a desire, but I didn't know how it was going to come out. I did not know about the execution at all, and to now be living it, it's definitely surreal. It's surreal, but I am excited, and I hope you guys are too. It really means a lot that you have hopped on here to join me today. And so, since this is the first episode, I figured the best way to start is to let you guys know who I am. So like I said before, my name is Thalia, and I figured a fun way that I can do this is just going through 20 questions, 20 get to know me questions. So I have them right here, and then I'll just go as the Holy Spirit leads, pretty much. So by now, if you have not been able to tell, I'm a Christian. I am a wife, and I am an entrepreneur. So I am the founder of Created by Thalia. Created by Thalia came into existence August 2019, but it actually started before that in some of the activities I would have done in childhood. So when I was 14, I would have started painting acrylic on canvas, and then it would have evolved into painting on shirts, and it would have evolved into graphic design and all these different things. I would have done little hustles here and there, but in terms of it being an established, registered, branded business, August of 2019, and here we are. Hooray! Yeah. So apart from that, I am Barbadian, so that means that I was born in Barbados, and I was born and raised there. I left there when I was 18 years old to pursue my degree. So I did a bachelor's of applied technology, architecture, project and facility management. I know that's a mouthful, but that honestly is the name of the that's the name of it. Well, basically what it is that you get to focus on the architecture stream, but you also get to touch on project management and facility management. And well, initially I wanted to be an architect. I think I knew that I wanted to do the whole architecture thing when I was like 8, because at that point I knew that I wanted to help people, but at the same time I wanted to keep my love for art somewhere in there. And I figured, you know what? We need buildings to survive. We need shelter. Why not help people by creating shelters that they love, that are aesthetically pleasing to them and are functional? So that's the pursuit of architecture. But at the same time, that I've always loved everything organization. Organization is my thing. Love it. And I think that's also what kind of kindle the love for business and everything like that. Anything that's like operations related, how things work, how to make things work better, how to get efficiency, anything of that nature. I've always loved that. I've always been like very meticulous. Things need to be a certain way. I need to write things in this order, in this color, this way, this, like, I've always been very special. And so yeah, that would have led to the pursuit of the career that I once had. But I've always had a love for art. I've always loved to draw. And so here we are. When I would say when God like really dropped that desire in my spirit to pursue business, and to like actually establish and register it and start over, because yes, I would have done some elements in Barbados and I would have loved that, and I really appreciate everyone that would have supported that 14-year-old girl that was just trying to hustle, you know. After coming here and still, you know, just trying to make it through school and make ends meet and all these different things, after getting married, like knowing that we were a family and that we were going to have children, and I wanted my children to have something that they could pass on to their children and so on. And I wanted them to be debt free and all of these different things. I'm like, okay, how do we go about this? And God would have dropped the business, and we pretty much went from there. I remember when I told my husband that I wanted to start Created by Thalia, he was down. Like, he was so down. And he was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And like, that oh yeah, that sounds good was like, okay, Thalia, go ahead. So the next day, like, I'm gonna work a while, we're like on my break. Like, I started to look into how to register a business and all that, and I talked to one of my friends, and she would have started to look into that for herself too. And so she would have given me the link, and like I did the report and everything, and then I registered the business, and I sent my husband a picture of the registration, and he's like, wait, what? Like, it's like, I know we discussed and everything, but Thalia, like, if I commit to something, I'm gonna like put my all in it. And boom, before we knew it, I had a logo. Like, we sat down, and like, he would have been there as I was working on the logo, and then he would come up with the mission statement and the values and everything, and it's just seeing this thing evolve in front of your eyes. And then we launched it, and he's always been very supportive in terms of keeping an eye out for different equipment that can make the process more efficient and all these different things. And yeah, so it's been a wonderful journey for sure. And so the podcast really is geared to touching on the things that go into a kingdom business, keeping that kingdom business going. I'm pretty much just getting feedback from others that are going through that process. So it's going to be a case where it's not just me all the time that you see here, but we'll also have some guests and everything, and that will be lots of fun to get different perspectives on kingdom minded businesses. So yeah, that's it for the startup of Created, and kind of like a little bit about me. But to get into some other interesting facts about me, I have these questions here. So there are 20 questions, and I hope that you guys enjoy getting to know me a little bit more through these. So the first one is, when is my birthday? So my birthday is in August. I'm just going to leave that there. My birthday's in August. So I'm not going to go into like every single detail, because then you guys are going to know how old I am. I'm not super old, but like, let's know each other slowly. Okay. So what is your favorite animal? Hands down, dogs. I love dogs. Like, I adore dogs. I don't have one now, but by God's grace, in the future, I will have one. Thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord, in advance for my puppy. It's just that, like, having a pet is a lot of responsibility, and it's not that I am not down for the responsibility. It is more a case of they cost money, and like, it's a case of I now have to make sure that I'm spending money on getting really nice foods and making sure that it's getting its checkups and all that. And there's some things that I need to get started out first before I decide that I'm going to be pushing money into a puppy. But for sure, when the children get to be a certain age, then we can definitely do that. I think that'd be really nice for them to have, something that teaches them responsibility, because we're all about having strong Christian-minded independent children. I think that'd be something that is really, really good for them. So yeah, eventually I'll get my puppy, even though it's theirs, it's mine. But yeah. So the next thing, what do you do for a living? So I would have touched on this, but I can expand it a little bit more for you guys. So Created by Thalia, as I said, it would have started in 2019. At that point, though, I was pursuing my career in project management. However, as of August last year being 2021, I would have started this journey full time on our second anniversary. So that's definitely been a journey, and I'll share all of that in the episodes to come. But it's been interesting for sure. God has definitely been using this whole pursuit to teach me a lot of things about like Christian living holistically. If there's anything that has been reiterated in this journey of entrepreneurship, is that I can't do anything without God. It's not possible. Like, it's just not possible. And yeah, lots of highs, lots of lows, as with everything. But it's all a process. It's all a process, and we'll definitely touch on some of those things in the episodes to come. But Created also has two businesses underneath it. So Created now has Kingdom Life Apparel that would have started on January 1st, 2020. And so this year that also would have turned 2. Yay! But Kingdom Life Apparel is basically a clothing brand that is focused on spreading the gospel of the kingdom. So the apparel, all of the designs are either related to wrapping the kingdom or just standard faith-based, interesting Christian quotes, things like that. And so what I like about it is that it gives you a tangible aspect to your Christianity. So it's a case that, yeah, you know where you stand, but now you're able to wear that and wear that with confidence. And you're walking down the street or wherever the case may be, and someone sees your shirt and they're like, oh wow, like, you're a Christian, like, what does this mean? You know what I mean? So I really like that about Kingdom. Yeah, and we'll be dropping new stuff soon, so I'll let you guys know all these things as the time goes by. And last but not least is our baby, our latest baby, and there's a pun intended there because it is a baby brand. So Legacy 3 Apparel, as you can tell, it's another apparel business, but this one is more focused towards baby clothing. So it has two foundational principles. The first principle is giving parents and giving the family members and friends of people that are expecting or desiring, I should say, like in that waiting period, desiring children, giving them something tangible that they can look onto and have that daily reminder that God has not forsaken them, and that they will have their testimony manifested, and that people will be able to see the testimony that God has given them. And so a lot of that apparel is in terms of our fave onesies and all these wonderful things. But then we also have the other side. So the people that have already seen that testimony and they want to, continue to invest into that testimony. So a lot of designs that are pretty much geared to showcasing that this is what God has done, and also just enjoying that child. So things to document the child's growth, like so milestone this, and things to document their birth, so like flower shadow boxes, and we also have birth elephants, so you can put down the date and the time and all of these critical pieces of information that you can look back and remember for a lifetime. So yeah, that is what I do on a daily basis. Created itself has many different divisions underneath it. There is the main production side where we print everything, print shirts, we print on cups, we print on mugs, we print on pretty much anything at this point. We've started embroidery recently. Yeah, we've been touching on a lot of things, and we definitely are going to continue to expand. There is just the graphic design portion, and then there is a small business support. So as you can tell with creating a legacy, there is that passion for helping others and showing others what God can do in their businesses. And so Created has a component that focuses on helping businesses get started and supporting them throughout their growth. So from getting your business cards done and your thank you cards and your packaging and all the way to actually managing your socials, we do that for you. So yeah, that's a general rundown of everything that we do. And so you see, we do a lot. And right now we are we are pretty much a party of one. So when it is that I don't answer phone calls or I am taking a long time to answer messages, it's for a reason. There's a lot happening. For sure. And now there'll also be this. There'll also be recording. So everyone, just bear with me. But I thank God for his grace. I can definitely say that he sustains. All right. Question 4. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? Okay, so if I could leave like right now and I could go to the airport and land somewhere, it would be Barbados. Like, I have not been home since 2018, and that's unacceptable. But everything that has happened. But hopefully that ends soon, by God's grace. Keep that as a prayer point, everyone. But yeah, apart from that though, somewhere cool that babe and I can just have some time, I'd say maybe somewhere like Bali. Like, I've seen pictures on Instagram and so on, and it looks like it'd be pretty neat. Like, they have some pretty nice resorts and stuff. Looks like it'd be really serene, just somewhere that you can really like just decompress, just chill. That would be cool. What was your favorite subject in school? I would say geometrical and mechanical engineering drawing. That's a mouthful. Yeah, I had a lot of subjects that were mouthfuls. I mean, you saw how long the name of my degree was. I'm like, shoot. But basically that touches on like the geometric aspect of how you solve things for engineering. So like cams and all of that wonderful stuff. There's actual calculations that have to go into that. And so like they'll give you like a problem of you need to solve, you need something to work and it requires a cam to be powered. But to get the particular timing for the mechanical component to be effective, like there's a graph that you have to draw, and then you're able to get the exact shape of the cam. So cams have different shapes. Everyone just nod. And then the mechanical engineering component is pretty much what it sounds like. So you actually get into different components that will make your equipment function by mechanics. Yeah, that was lots of fun. That was my favorite subject for sure. All right, so next question. Do you have a small family or a big family? I have a small family right now. Like, I am an only child, so that is small in itself. But then when I actually look at like extended family and stuff, we're pretty big because my parents both have a lot of siblings. My husband has siblings, so that adds some growth there. And then as we multiply as well, we will have a big family. So yeah, small but evolving. Let's put it like that. What genres of music do you like best? Okay. Right off the bat, like, I think you guys know that it is Christian, but in terms of like specifics, I would say right now, probably like the Nigerian gospel. I don't know if there's a particular word for it, but I am currently going through that. Like, there's just something, it's not that I necessarily know every single word or know how to pronounce the words. And I mean, I'm learning all the different tribes and all of that. I guess you guys would probably you guys could probably tell like from my last name where my Nigerian roots are coming from. But yeah, it's definitely a different hit for sure. The music hits differently, it hits your soul differently for sure. So that would definitely be it. Yeah, definitely. That would definitely be it. How do you like to spend your free time? Okay, so I would have just rattled off how many things I do in a day. So I think you guys can tell that when I get free time, I just want to de-stress. I don't really want any external interventions or distractions or disturbances or whatever the words are. They're not coming to me. But I definitely would say that I like to spend my free time having quality time with my husband. We're both very wrapped up in the different things that we have to do. There's so many different responsibilities having a family. So having to go to work and come home and deal with the stress of work and all these different things, like sometimes just having time to just be us and have us. I have no one in in the midst. It's nice. It's sometimes very nice. So that, I'd say that's how I like to spend my free time. Back in the day, probably would have been like drawing and stuff like that, but because I do that as a job now, yeah, having something else to separate me is definitely advantageous. I don't know if I really, it's not that I don't have free time, but I don't know if I really do the whole unwinding thing, because as an entrepreneur, like, your wheels turn for sure. Given that you have all the different positions in one body, you are accountant, you are production, you are customer service, you're everything. Sometimes it's a little hard to unwind. So anytime that I really could just pull myself out of that situation and just focus on my marriage, I thank God for that. I thank God for that for sure. All right. Next one. Are you a morning or night person? Night. I don't even have to think about this one. Guys, I know that I should be doing better in terms of waking up early, because it gives me more hours in a day to do things, and I have a lot of things I need to do. But the reality is, I don't like getting up that early. And me, you know what? Like, after I got married, I did start to get a little better, because my husband is an early riser, and so you're up by association, but you're not necessarily up by choice. But I'd say I'm getting better. I have a group of sisters that we pray in the mornings, the Daughters of Zion, and we get up at 5 a.m. And honestly, if not for that, I probably won't get up early at all. And that's not a daily thing. So the other days, and even those days are a struggle. I know that I should be a morning person and I need to get there, but the reality is I'm not there yet. But everything's a process, everything's a process. So we take it in strides for sure. Okay, so let's see what else I got here. All right. What is your favorite food? I would say ham. Yeah, ham is my favorite food. But if I go beyond that, my next favorite food is from Chefette. So Chefette is a restaurant in Barbados, and they need to get to Canada, but I'll have a talk with the owner another day. But you see, when I'm coming home, like, as soon as I land, it's like I will message my dad. I'm like, okay, I'm here. And I know that once I get through those doors, he's gonna be there waiting with a strawberry milkshake and a beef and potato roti. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But you know what? I I'm moving to the all beef, and all of those from Barbados can relate to this. I'm moving to the all beef side of life. When my husband went with me in 2018, he introduced me to the all beef. And you know what? I'm there. I'm definitely there. I've joined the all beef family. But anyhow. Next one. What is your favorite movie or TV show? I don't think I have one of those. I mean, I like Marvel movies and I like some sci-fi stuff. I'm weird like that. Weird like that. I think because I like geography, anything that has natural disasters, that's weird. But I think that anything that talks about the process of people like dealing with a natural disaster or whatever, like Twister and 2012, all of those types of movies, like I'll watch those a couple times. I really can't explain why, but honestly, just like them. It's weird, but weird fact about me. Hooray. What is your favorite childhood memory? Okay, I have a lot of these. So how do I narrow that down? I would say, okay, I have one. When I was a child, every Friday, my grandmother will go to town. And so town means our main city being Bridgetown. And while I was at school and my parents were at work, she would go and she would get vegetables and all the different things that we needed to cook for the week. And she'll also like go in some of the stores and see if there's anything new that we can get for bring wherever, whatever. And then my parents will pick me up from school, and then we'll go and pick her up. And on the way back, we'll pick up something, probably French Fat. Yeah, French Fat again. And then like, we'll go home and like we'll unwind and watch something and eat whatever we would have picked up. Fridays were amazing. I always loved Fridays. And then at primary school, on Fridays was like our games day. PE, physical education, I guess that's what they call it here. I don't even know what they call it here. But that definitely would have been one of those amazing memories, because that day would have been a day that I would have gotten to spend some time like running around doing something or the other. And then we'll go and we'll do that. And then when I got into secondary school and I was able to start driving, then it became my responsibility of I'll leave school, I'll go and pick her up, take her there, and I would just stay with her and hold the bags and stuff like that. And that was nice too. I wasn't like the biggest fan of town because there was so much people in town. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm very introverted. And I'm like, oh my God, people. But just that quality time with her, I really enjoyed that quality time. So I guess you guys can tell that I like quality time. And then, yeah, we come at home and sometimes I pick up my mom. However, it case with me, but it was definitely a nice bonding experience. So I'd say that was one of my favorites. Who is your celebrity crush? You guys gonna put me in trouble. My favorite celebrity crush used to be Vin Diesel, but now it's Idris Elba. Yeah. I don't even know when the switch occurred. I have no idea when the switch occurred. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Do you speak more than one language? Technically, no. I speak English and I speak Bajan dialect. Is Bajan dialect commonly defined as another language? No. Like, I know Jamaican Patois is, but I don't really think that Bajan dialect is currently accepted like widely as another language. Who knows if it'll ever get there or not. Is broken English, yes, but it's not broken to the extent that you can't understand everything. So I don't know if they ever will do that, but If that counts as another language, I speak that. And then from obviously being exposed to the Nigerian culture through my marriage, I've picked up a couple pidgin words, but not enough to say that I speak it as another language. Yeah. Okay. So, what is your biggest pet peeve? I would have to say laziness. I'd say laziness. And I know that's kind of broad. Like, there's so many things that come with laziness. It's like, okay, what exactly about it? But like, okay, let me give you an example. So a person is lazy, and as a result, it means that they are not cleaning up after themselves or something like that. Those things really get to me, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Those things really get to me. But God has been teaching me patience, and especially in the past 2 years. Like, God has really been working on me these past 2 years. Like, honestly, God has been really doing some things. And you know what? I'll probably touch on some of those things in future episodes too. But yeah, he's been breaking up some of the impatience that I've had in the past. So I'm doing a lot better. Because I'm not necessarily super vocal. Like, the things will happen for a while, and then eventually, like, I'll get to the point where I, like, break. But even getting to that breaking point, and I say that in inverted commas, like, that time span has increased significantly. So I'm getting better. We thank God. Sure. What is your favorite holiday? I don't really know if I have a favorite holiday. I used to love Christmas. Christmas used to be my favorite holiday, but I recently learned about the pagan origins of Christmas. So I'd say that I like remembering about Christ's birth, but I am not overly focused on all of the other unrelated things. So and I used to be like, this is a very recent change, but it was convicted about it. So and that's just me. That's between me and God. But yeah, after that conviction, I don't really know what that would be anymore. But yeah, we can probably just leave it at Christmas for now. But just not the typical definition of what Christmas is, if that makes sense. Okay, so where did you grow up? So I touched on this, but I can expand. No problem. So I was born and raised in Barbados. Barbados is a small little island, technically in the Atlantic Ocean, but we are considered a part of the Caribbean. And yeah, it's a pretty small island. Last time I was there, population was like 250,000. For those of you that are based in Canada, that's like the population of Kitchener, Ontario. Yeah, so that's that's not a lot of people when you really look at it. But I really loved growing up on an island. I love the intimacy of being an islander. Like, you're pretty close knit, and the people are legit. Like, you really have some strong supporters. And it's beautiful. There are a lot of things about the island that I didn't really take advantage of when I lived there, like going to the beach and stuff like that. I took that for granted, guys. Like, now, if I want to go to the beach, I either have to fly somewhere else, I have to drive for hours, and it's not a beach, it's going to be a lake, and I'm going to be disappointed. And who wants to go through all of that? Like, that's a lot of emotional trauma. So yeah, that's where I was born and raised. And yeah, good stuff. What is a skill that you would like to learn? I would say, I don't know if it's necessarily a skill, but I'd say I'd like to learn French. And it's not that I haven't learned French in the past, but after learning it, I've never used it. So I probably need like a French immersion that will push me to really retain the information. Because I did it at what some would understand as O levels. CSC. I did it at CSC level. I don't really know how to translate that into the broader educational spectrum. I don't know what fifth form is in terms of grades. I don't really know that, so I can't really explain that part. But I was 15. I was 15 when I did that certification, if that helps. But I did French at that level, and then I came to Canada, and during my degree, I would have done 3 semesters of French, and I still can't really use it. It's not like I didn't get good grades in it or anything, because I did, and I probably can still write it pretty well, but my pronunciation, it's a little sketchy. But also, like, I can't roll an R to save my life. I can't. It's just no. So I guess there's some limitations there, but like, I'd still like to learn French. I mean, I live in Canada. I feel like I should know French a little bit more. But we move. Let's see. We're almost there, guys. 2 more questions. What do you value most in a friend? I'd say honesty. Honesty for sure. Because I don't want to be coming to you as a friend and saying that I did XYZ. What do you think? And you're like, oh my God, yes, girl. They're wrong. How they could do like that? And I wrong. Don't be doing that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, that's not it. And I don't need that. I need you to be frank with me and be like, okay, you know what? You shouldn't have done that. You probably should have done this. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I respect that. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to do something to you. So, like, I don't need no fake friends. I don't need fake friends. No, we don't need that. So that's definitely what I value most in a friend. And then the last one, what is your biggest irrational fear? So I'm going to respond to this very cautiously, because fear is not of God. So I know I have had those in the past, but God has definitely been working on those things. So I'll say concerns. I'll use the word concerns. So in the past, I would have had a concern about being a burden. And I'm going to keep it worded like that. Yeah, I'm going to keep it worded like that. And so my main thing was, I didn't want to be impacting someone else's life negatively, burdening them because of my involvement. So whether it be that it was like as a financial burden or an emotional burden or whatever the case may be, I didn't want to do that. And I did go through a period of time of bottling things because I did not want that to happen. And so even when it was in tough situations and I direly needed help, I wouldn't be very vocal about it. And it put me in a lot of very difficult situations that probably could have been resolved much earlier on. But because I was so concerned with being a burden to others, I kind of was just like, I gotta figure this thing out myself. And then I couldn't figure it out myself. So I'm definitely learning. And I would say I am learning as of this year. Like, this is a very, very recent thing. And I'm being very vulnerable and being very transparent. And, like, that's what's going to happen on this channel anyways. There's going to be a lot of that vulnerability, a lot of that transparency here. But I definitely had to go through a process of, number one, learning that that's not the case. Learning that you are allowed to ask for help. Learning that help is there for a reason. And that God sometimes sends help in the form of people. and being transparent and communicating that you need help is essential. And that even comes when we tie back the whole concept of building that business, building that legacy. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. And this podcast is really about that. helping, being that source of help, in terms of help you understand why kingdom minded businesses are important in important English. Wow. But also just helping you guys on the process of realizing that vision that God has given you. So he has shown you what business he wants you to pursue. He has helped you to understand what your purpose is, and now you need help realizing that business, realizing that vision. That's what this podcast is here for. So we're going to be touching on all those different things, and we're also going to go with some real life experiences from my businesses and my journey, and also from others. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. So that is it for the 20 questions. I hope you guys enjoy that. I had fun sharing those things about myself with you guys. And if you're still listening, it means a lot that you have made it this far, because we've been talking for quite some time. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to going on this journey with you. It's a journey for me too, because it requires me to be extremely vulnerable about things that I would have gone through on the journey thus far. But I understand that it is important. I understand that it's essential in helping you with your journey. And I really want to do that. So I really hope that I can be used by God to help you, to be a source for sure. And together we're going to create those legacies. We're going to create generational wealth. We're going to build legacies that people remember forever. We're going to impact the world. We're going to seek the kingdom first, and all those things, everything, the businesses, the families we want, the relationships we want, the marriages we want, all the different things are going to be added to us. So I think you guys can probably tell by now that because we're talking about creating a legacy, and because we're talking about it from a kingdom perspective, so not being a Christian kingdom perspective, there will be God in every aspect of this podcast. Every aspect. So I just want to reiterate that I'm not going to be talking about business just solely from an academic perspective. We'll probably have a lot of different discussions in that respect, but first and foremost, you definitely need that guidance from God. The word says, not by might, it's not by power, but it's by his spirit. And we need the Holy Spirit to get us through things. I'm telling you, if a day goes by and let's say I have a production day, pretty heavy production day. If I do not take time to just ask God to take complete control, I can bet you that something is going to go around. But when we give God preeminence in everything, we see everything that is added afterwards. And so we'll be touching on all those different things, how to keep your business God focused, and how to allow him to guide you. And God, being the master creator, he's going to show you how to create that legacy. He's going to show you the tools that you need. He's going to show you how to get that additional capital. He's going to bring that additional capital. All of these things because you're keeping him involved. So we're definitely going to touch on these things in the weeks to come. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share all of this with you. So we'll be having these talks every week. So you guys are excited. Every Monday, start the Monday fresh with some meat, something tangible that can get you through your week. So yeah, I pray that God bless you and that He keeps you and that He makes His face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and that the light of His countenance and His peace shall be with you now and forevermore. Thank you so much for being here. It means so much. It means so much. If you haven't followed us yet, follow us on Instagram. So our Instagram is Creating a Legacy Podcast. And you can also leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know what you think. Let us know some of the things that you want us to tackle as well. You can do the same thing on Instagram. And also just look forward to the next episode. We'll definitely see you next week. Until next time, see you guys.